Today, we're diving into a hidden superpower you use, well, every single second of every single day. The ability to make thousands of decisions without your brain just completely grinding to a halt. So, how on earth does it pull that off? I mean, really think about it for a second. What you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, how you navigate through traffic, all those little and big choices you make at work. If you had to stop and consciously analyze every single piece of information for every single one, you'd be totally paralyzed. So, what's the secret sauce?
Well, the secret is all about a fundamental trade-off. See, on one hand, you could do an exhaustive analysis, the slow, energy-draining quest for the absolute perfect answer. Or you could take a much faster, more nimble approach, finding an answer that's good enough and finding it fast. Your brain, it turns out, is an absolute master of that second path.
And the tool it uses to do this is called a heuristic. You can just think of it as a mental shortcut, a rule of thumb that your brain uses to slice right through all the complexity and make decisions on the fly, without getting bogged down in every last detail.
This quote just perfectly captures the whole philosophy behind this. It's not about being lazy, not at all. It's about being able to act effectively with the information you actually have. It's a kind of cognitive confidence, really.
Now, to really get this, we have to touch on a concept called bounded rationality. It sounds kind of academic, I know, but the idea is simple. It just means our minds have to work within real-world limits, right? We don't have infinite time, we don't have infinite memory or infinite information. So our mental shortcuts are actually a brilliant adaptation to those boundaries.
And this is a really crucial point. Heuristics aren't bugs in our mental software. They are features. The psychologist Gerd Gegerenzer called them fast and frugal tools, and that's exactly what they are. They get the job done with the least amount of information and time possible, which, if you think about it, is an incredible evolutionary advantage.
Okay, so what's actually in this mental toolkit of ours? Well, first up, let's look at the shortcuts that are all about our feelings and our memories.
First on the list is the affect heuristic. This is basically your gut reaction. You know when you look at a product with really nice packaging and you just feel like it's a high-quality item, even before you read the label? That's the affect heuristic in action. That good feeling becomes a shortcut for a good judgment.
Next, we've got the availability heuristic. This one is all about memory. Why are so many of us more scared of shark attacks than, say, car accidents? It's because the stories we hear about shark attacks are super dramatic, they're vivid, they're easy to remember, and that makes them seem way more common than they actually are. The easier it is to recall, the more likely we think it is.
And then there's the Representativeness Heuristic, which taps into our brain's absolute love of patterns. We basically judge something based on how well it matches a stereotype or a prototype we have in our mind. Now, this helps us categorize the world in a split second, but you can probably guess. It can also trip us up if our mental model doesn't quite match reality. All right, so heuristics aren't just about gut feelings. They also give us some really structured, practical strategies for tackling complex problems.
Take the working backwards heuristic. This is so cool. Instead of starting at the messy beginning of a problem, you start at the solution and you literally work your way backward. It's kind of like solving a maze by starting at the exit. And let me tell you, this is an incredibly powerful technique for planning projects and actually hitting your goals.
And then, of course, there's the OG heuristic, the one we all start with as kids, trial and error. I mean, this is the fundamental engine of learning, isn't it? You make a guess, you test it out, you learn from what happens, and you do it again. It's how innovation happens, it's how we grow, one corrected mistake at a time.
Quick question. Do you still have the factory ringtone that came with your phone? A lot of us do, and that's because of the default bias. We are just wired to stick with whatever the preset option is, because changing it takes mental effort. It's this quiet, powerful force that shapes countless choices we make every single day without us even noticing.
Now, what's really fascinating is that this mental toolkit isn't just set in stone. Our brains have this remarkable built-in quality control system for checking, updating, and improving these shortcuts as we go.
This process is called validation. Basically, every time we use a heuristic and see the result, we get feedback. And that feedback helps refine our rules of thumb. Over time, what starts as a rookie's wild guess slowly evolves into an expert's sharp intuition. This is literally how experience makes us smarter. So here's a powerful way to do a little audit on your own toolkit. Just ask yourself this one question. If I were building my decision-making rules from scratch today, would I keep the ones I have?
This is a technique called zero-based thinking. It forces you to reevaluate all those automatic rules and decide if they're actually still working for you. It's how you stop your heuristics and becoming just outdated habits. And all of this brings us to what I think is the single most important idea in this entire explainer. Seriously, this is takeaway number 1, the art of good enough. It's all about redefining what a good decision even is.
See, on one side, you have optimization. That's the endless, exhausting search for the single best, perfect solution. And on the other side, you have something called satisficing. That's the search for a solution that is simply adequate. Good enough. One is perfect, but maybe it's too late. The other is good enough, and it's right on time.
Yeah, satisficing. It's a funny word, I know. It was coined by the brilliant Herbert Simon, and it just perfectly describes the whole philosophy behind heuristics. It's not about settling for less. It's about making a smart, practical choice that actually works in the real world. It really is the art of being good enough.
So when you boil it all down, your brain is running this incredibly sophisticated intelligence economy. It is constantly balancing the costs and benefits. It's trading just a little bit of perfect accuracy for a huge gain in speed and efficiency. And in that economy, heuristics are the currency that makes it all work.
And that leaves us with this beautiful final thought. Far from being some kind of flaw, our reliance on these mental shortcuts is a form of poetry. It's swift, it's approximate, and yet it is a deeply intelligent expression of our minds adapting to an incredibly complex world. So the next time you make a snap judgment, maybe give your brain a little nod for its clever, poetic efficiency.